What's up? Kizer. Yeah, man. What do we got? This is Sub-3. Almost a 3-inch blade. Mikey Carlson. 154 cm, aluminum. It's a clutch lock. All right. Okay. I'll take its word for it. Sub-3. So, I will say that I have spied this knife for a while and just was never willing to pay what was being asked for it. And I, for the first time, got a set of black hardware here, or black screws. Yep. For the first time, I purchased off of Temu. Yep, Temu. Look at this black stonewash finish on this aluminum. And it's the chalk, man. It's the chalkiest. Ugh. I mean, listen, I've run into a few that can't stand that chalky feel. But, man, when it comes to a knife, I love it. Yeah, wonderful feel on this right here. Very grippy stuff. I like what they have done to it. Let's get rid of all this packaging and stickers and screws. But yeah, this is one of two knives that I bought on Temu. I think during like Black Friday or whatever. And like this particular knife, they were selling it at a crazy low price, like way lower than any place else. And so I was a little concerned that it wasn't legit. I've never bought from Temu before. And let's see this blade. Yeah. I know that every time I looked at this knife, I thought, man, I'm going to have to check that knife out. Especially with the Kizer clutch action. It's got this, is that a DLC coat? I'm not sure what kind of coating that is on the blade. I don't know. I'll look before the end of the video. But just an attractive knife. The flat black, then the satin black on the coating. The clutch lock, which of course, you know, the drop bear, the escort, all of them. And this one, no different. It has the Kizer clutch lock action, which is it's excellent. Yeah, it's wonderful. They do this right. They know how to do it, man. And this knife has it. I didn't really doubt that it would. This is, I'm going to say it, I mean, well, this is doable. I wasn't going to talk about that, but yeah, I can get there. But this is probably a medium knife, small to a medium knife. I can just get 4 fingers on it, locked in, jimping on the spine there. Yeah, so it was at a price point on Temu, this and another Kizer knife. And I thought, I wasn't sure if it was going to be a legit knife. I did see with shipping times that they were actually coming from China. And so, I don't know. So you just don't know. I guess suspect isn't necessarily the right word. Let's go ahead and get in this while I'm jibber jabbing. I wasn't suspect, but I just didn't know. So I was curious to find out if I was actually going to get the knife and how long it would take to ship. And yeah, it definitely came from China. And so the shipping time represented what it takes to get a knife from China for sure. It took a minute, a couple of 2-3 weeks, I think. And but they showed up. The sales process was fairly simple, and they showed up brand new Yeah. So this is one of the things with the Kizer clutch lock is you can remove the scales and adjust the action um, without having to disassemble the knife. Which I'm I'm probably going to disassemble this one because it's mine. This isn't going to Timber's Edge. Like this is my piece. So I think I'll take it apart and clean it up and make sure that the bearings are lubed. But I wanted to mention one other thing. So the aluminum scale is the steel liner is nested within that aluminum scale. Very cool. I dig it. Like, I mean, you know, I'm pretty sure milling out for nested liners on G10 or micarta isn't really any different than doing it in aluminum, but yeah, pretty cool. I dig it. Let's just go ahead and break this knife down. We'll just get after it. No sense. I know I'm getting in here, so I'm just gonna do it. Do it to it. And so one of the things that happens when they do it this way is that the center of the pivot is captured in between the liners. Um, when you press the liners together, the center of the pivot's captured, so you can pull both sides of the pivot screw, and you can pull the other scale and adjust. You can tune this action without having to disassemble the knife. Which, I repeat myself, but I'm going to take this dude apart because I want to get at the bearings and wipe everything down, and I'm checking it in. I'm going to check it in. Drop that barrel. And I think I got to pull this last screw. There we go. Yeah, it's got grease in it, and I don't want that grease. I'm definitely going to get rid of it. Put some light oil on it. I need to get that bearing off of there. I think I'm going to have to get under it. Yep, there we go. I'm going to leave that locked in there. It's kind of locked into that scale. That's going to help me reassemble. I also like the way that they remove the coating from where the bearings are going to run. I think that's pretty cool. And I believe they do the same thing on the blade. Yep. That way those bearings don't have to cut their way through that coating and creates black dust, and it's just kind of messy. Eventually the bearings will cut their way through all that, but it's definitely a nice step to clear that, right? All right, let's clean it all up. Nice little 154. I do like this coating. And this 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 coating or anodizing on the aluminum, oh, it's so nice. It's just chalky and rough, matte finish. Give me that. And never give me a slick, polished knife ever again. and I'll be happy. I mean, there's maybe a few other things in life that I'd like, but yeah, that would make me happy. And if I don't get every bit of that grease, I'm okay. And I think what we'll find is that the barrel spacers may be captured as well. They are not. Okay. No worries. Should be able to. There we go. I should be able to start reassembling as soon as I clean these bearings. How about that? Got that thick grease on them. All right, Chi. Let's get a dab of this. Now I should be able to put a screw in here. And then put the other one in as well. Which in essence will lock this assembly together. Yep. And so when it comes to a clutch lock like this, clutch lock, axis lock, plunge lock, whatever you want to call it, man, they do this right. It makes it so easy to work with these knives. I mean, it's just wonderful. So now I can put my little barbell back in, and I can put a spring on that side, and then the other side, and the only thing I've got left is these nested liners. I mean, a pocket clip as well, but I mean, as far as working with a clutch lock like this, just couldn't be easier. That thing was functioning pretty well at the stiffest, but I'm going to come down one notch, just lighten it up just slightly. And of course, the beauty is if I don't like that, or I find I want it lighter or tighter, all I got to do is pull off that liner and I can adjust the knife. I don't have to completely disassemble everything. And so, yeah, we're together now. Oh man, is that good. Ooh. All right. So I can go, let me go to the show side and I'll put that pivot screw back on. And this back screw. Somehow that don't seem right. I think it's this one. Yep. Wow. Blade centered. So nice. Man, am I glad I picked one of these up. I just waited and waited. And then lo and behold, Temu. Come on. It was a good reason for me to check them out. What's up, Temu? Here's one of the things I will tell you about Temu is it doesn't appear like they have a lot of high-end knives. Like they have a lot of stuff there, but it's mostly standard buying from overseas, cheap stuff. But they do have some Kizers here. And I can tell you that these are 100% legit Kizers. And the shipping wasn't horrible. I mean, standard coming from China shipping, in that 2 to 4 week range. Another criticism that I had is, but it's across the board buying products from China, and I don't care what site or where you buy them, until they hit the mainland U.S., the tracking from China purchases is typically horrible. Yeah, so that blade is solid as a rock. And it's possible, I think that I might be too tight on the pivot. I feel like it feels really tight. Still locked, better. Yeah. Just a tiny bit too tight. Look at that. Just gravity. Watch it close. Ready? Oh, it didn't go. Come on, man. There it is. Wow, is that good? I'm almost tempted to put that spring back to where it was. The action on this, I mean, I moved it down 1 notch, and the action is super light now. If it's tight, I'm going to leave it. Yeah, it's locked up tight as can be. So the criticism is, which is true, whether you're buying from eBay or Amazon or Temu or AliExpress, if you're buying a China product, let's say specifically a knife, and it's coming from China, the tracking on it is non-existent for weeks. If it's a 3-week ship, I mean, 2 weeks and a few days, nothing. I mean, you got to be patient, and I think that's where a lot of people find their frustration is because they purchase and then, they start complaining on, I don't know, social media sites or whatever. Yeah, I didn't hear a word, Well, just know, if you're buying a knife from China, Kizers, if it's coming from China and not warehoused in the U.S., the tracking on it is going to be horrendous or non-existent until it hits the mainland. It'll show up in some city in California, and then most times they're handed off to the U.S. Post Office, and then the tracking will kind of activate. Maybe. A lot of times buying from China, I don't know any tracking information until the day it shows up in my mailbox. Yeah. So Does Temu get the same criticism? Yeah, but what's Temu got to do with it? It's like me blaming AliExpress for the tracking number that Kizer gives me. You know, it's unfortunately it's just tracking it out of the country from China and across the ocean. It until it hits U.S. mainland, it non-existent. But I know to be patient buying Chinese knives from China, and so I didn't sweat it. And in that 3 week range, I think, boom, just showed up. Yep. The action on this, I mean, it's just not even right if I don't. I mean, it's A plus. It's just that good. If you've never handled a Kizer clutch lock, the drop bear, the escort, um, that list goes on and on. It's all of their knives that have this action function like that. If you haven't handled one, man, make it a purpose to find one within your budget. The steel doesn't necessarily matter, and pick one up because you may in the end not like the knife and want to move it out of your collection, but you'll know what I'm talking about. If you'll pick one up and put it in your hand, you'll go, yeah, the action, stupid, wonderful. And then you may say, yeah, it's not for me, the knife. Because there's a lot of things that go into really liking a knife. But the action, A plus, man. They know how to do that clutch lock, and they do it right. No doubt about it. Ergonomics. So it's got a really nice grip. It's a compact knife, and I'm packed in there for 4 fingers. But it's a confident grip. Not so confident, confident, very confident. The way that this cutout is, it's deep enough that I'm willing to say, yeah, it's a confident grip. My thumb is locked in really nice. No doubt I'm confident I could go forward with this knife with minimal risk of coming up and coming over onto that blade. Reverse grip is very good, capping it with my thumb. Very powerful grip here. And I can pack my hand in here to go this way because I'd rather go here than here. This seems natural coming in with the sharp blade, the point where this is fighting, coming in against the backside dull edge of the blade. And it's a natural arc of the arm, the natural arc. Even if I'm going this way, the natural arc is this way. And so the knife would be better held this way to bring that point, that tip to bear. Pocket clip. Triple stitch, thick stuff. Yeah, deep carry, just the tiniest little, less than 1/4 of an inch sticking out. Nice blacked out look. It could use some tension on standard jean size material, and then in my back pocket. Yeah, that could use just the tiniest little bit of tension to lock that in, and works really well there. I'm trying to think if I'm going to adjust that. I am, just slightly. So I had to pull the pocket clip to put some tension on it. So I'm going to put that spring back out to that max tension. There wasn't anything wrong. The knife wasn't sloppy at all. I just do think on this particular knife that's the spot to be on this one. So I'm going to pull this side and adjust the spring on this side as well. I'm going to put it out in that stiffest setting. I just think it's going to be better on this particular knife. See, I put it in that second hole. I'm going to move it up and put it in that first hole. Yep, like so. And that's how I got the knife. You know, Hey, sometimes my tuning isn't the best tuning. Sometimes the way that they send it is the best. Sometimes. It's pretty rare. I think I'm better, but what do I know? Yeah, I do think that's better. A little stiffer. It wasn't a huge difference, by the way. I think either would have been fine, but I think on this particular smaller piece, I do want the stiffer action. Very nice. Okay, pocket clip. Okay, haven't shown it in a few knives, but I'm going to protect it with a rag, and then I just want to close that gap on that clip a little bit. And I'm not going to be able to close it much because it's already pretty close. But I just want to get as much of that I can there. And of course, it's made out of Bruce spring steel, so you know, you close it and then it goes back. You close it and it goes back. But I protected it so there's no mars or scratches or anything on there. Yeah, I just need to put it back on now. The screws. Look to be different. This back one I think is a little longer. There we go. All right, we're all tight, back together. Got a tiny little wiggle in there. Let me get that out. Oh, man. All right, let's check that clip. Thick stuff? Oh, yeah. Lots of tension on there now. Didn't change it much, but man, it added some tension. Yeah, this thing would survive a dryer now in standard jeans. And if I tumbled down a hill or took off on a hard run, this knife isn't going to shake out of that pocket. When I reach back for it, it's going to be right where I left it. Yep. Pretty nice. Let's check it for safety. Make sure we don't have any blade contact here. None through the scales. The tip is recessed, so clip's awesome, tip's good. I can handle this knife any way I want. I'm not going to catch that sharp part. Let's check the detent on the bottom. Make sure that there's plenty of tension to hold that blade shut when it's in my pocket. And yeah, there's a bunch. Look at it. It'll snatch it from all the way back there and just snatch it in there. Wonderful. All right, 154 cm from the Kizer factory. Yeah. Stupid sharp. Wonderful. All right. Price and availability. How much are these, man? All right. Well, these look to have limited availability. I'm not like trying to find them. And it's one of those, man. I waited. And then I thought, golly, I found it at a decent price. I thought, man, I got to get it because I felt like it was going away. And sure enough, I mean, these are not easy to find. Most places that I look are out of them. I did find them on Amazon, but they're $89 on Amazon. So, also, where else did I see it? I saw it also. I saw it someplace else for $79. So there's a couple of places out there. But I think they're going away. Hey, eBay. I saw them on eBay for $79. Yep. But they were saying, hey, last one available, that kind of thing. So there's not a lot of them, but pretty cool, man. And of course, again, that Kizer clutch lock, yeah, it's some of the best stuff in the business, in my opinion. Hey, appreciate y'all watching.